I know how this sounds, but my friend called me last night. The same friend we buried 2 years ago. I hadn't even thought about Mike in months. Not because I forgot him. God, no. But because every time I do, I get that hollow feeling in my chest. Like the kind you get when you walk into a room expecting someone to be there. But they're gone. So yeah, I know how it sounds. But this really happened. It was a slow Friday night. One of those nights where everything feels off kilter, but you can't figure out why. Rain was tapping against the windows, light enough to be calming, but just heavy enough to make the road slick. I was home alone. My girlfriend had gone out with some coworkers for drinks. I didn't feel like tagging along. I made a frozen pizza, cracked open a beer, sat on the couch just scrolling through old photos on my phone, just trying to kill time. That's when I found the pictures of Mike. I didn't even realize I'd saved them. Shots from college, us at some party, him in those stupid sunglasses he never took off. I sat there for a while, staring at the photo, just remembering that laugh of his, the way he always knew how to make a room feel electric. The last time we spoke was a few days before his car crash. He called me out of the blue just to talk. Said he'd been feeling weird lately, paranoid. I never thought much of it then, but last night, that all came back. I tossed my phone on the coffee table, leaned back, and just stared at the ceiling. I don't know how long I stayed like that, but it couldn't have been more than 20 minutes when my phone lit up. One new voicemail. I hadn't even heard it ring. I leaned forward, confused. No missed call, just a voicemail from an unknown number. I put it on speaker. At first it was static, just that soft, hissing white noise you get from an old TV. Then a faint voice. It was hard to make out, until it wasn't. "Hey man, you there?" I froze. It was Mike. His voice was quieter than I remembered, slower, like he was calling from somewhere far away or underwater. My skin went cold. I don't know where I am," he said, "but I can't stay here. You have to help me." The message ended, just like that. I sat there for what felt like forever, staring at the phone, my heart thudding so loud I thought I might pass out. I tried calling the number back, but it wasn't valid, like it had never existed. I checked the voicemail again, certain I was hallucinating. But no, it was still there, still Mike. Same voice I'd known for years with that little rasp at the end of his sentences. I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the message, listening for anything in the background. A clue, a sound, something that would make this make sense. And that's when I heard it. A whisper almost buried beneath his voice. It wasn't him. It was something else. A second voice so faint I wouldn't have noticed if I hadn't played it on loop. It said just one thing: don't answer. Around 2:14 a.m., my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. This time I answered. There was no static, no delay. "Why didn't you pick up before?" the voice asked. It was Mike, but it wasn't. It sounded angry, hurt, like I betrayed him somehow. I couldn't speak. My mouth had gone dry. "I saw you," he said, looking at the photo, remembering. That's why I got through. And then I heard it again. That second voice, clearer this time. "He's not supposed to talk to you." Then silence. I don't remember falling asleep, but I must have, because I jolted awake on the couch hours later, drenched in sweat. My phone was on the floor, screen cracked, voicemail app still open. But now there were 3 new messages. I didn't listen. Instead, I got up and walked to the front door. I don't know why, just something compelled me. The hallway was pitch black, the kind of darkness that feels thick, like it's pressing into your skin. And then I saw it, a figure standing just outside the door. I couldn't see his face, but I knew it was Mike. He was standing still, unmoving, like a mannequin, head tilted slightly to one side. He raised a hand slowly, pressed it against the glass. I didn't move. Then just as slowly, he mouthed something I couldn't hear, but I understood. "Help me." I blinked. He was gone. No footprints in the snow. No sign anyone had been there. but the glass had a handprint, and it was ice cold. I've since changed my number, thrown out the phone, deleted every photo I had of him. But last night, a new voicemail came through, on my new phone. I haven't listened to it yet. I'm too scared it'll be him. I'm even more scared it won't be. It was a long day. Work had been exhausting. Meetings that dragged on, emails piling up. The kind of day where you just want to collapse the moment you step through the door. My wife had taken our daughter to visit her parents earlier, so I had the house to myself for a few hours. I remember thinking how quiet everything felt. Too quiet, the kind of quiet that makes you hear things that aren't there. I microwaved leftovers, flipped through channels, and eventually settled on doing nothing. Just scrolling through my phone, half listening to a podcast, letting the silence settle around me. The fan in the corner of the room clicked every few seconds. It's had that annoying click for weeks, but somehow I never fix it. Outside, the street lamp buzzed like it always does around dusk, casting a weird amber glow on the living room blinds. I remember noticing the light shift slowly as the evening crept in, and thinking how unnerving it felt. How unreal everything seemed with no noise but the click, the hum, and the occasional creak of the house settling. Then they got home. My wife carried our baby inside, exhausted from the trip, and we did the usual bedtime routine. Bath, bottle, lullaby. My daughter was extra giggly that night, and she kept pointing to the ceiling as if something up there was making her laugh. Probably nothing, just a shadow or a breeze. But still, it stuck with me. By 9:30, she was asleep in her crib, my wife curled up in bed, and I was left alone with my thoughts. I wasn't even tired. So I did what I always do when I can't sleep. Grabbed a beer, sat in the living room, and just existed, tried to enjoy the silence. It was about 10 minutes later when I noticed something strange. The baby monitor crackled. Just a tiny burst of static, barely noticeable over the sound of the fridge humming. It wasn't unusual. Old electronics do that sometimes. But then another sound came through, a whisper. I froze. My first thought was that I was imagining it. Lack of sleep messes with your mind in ways you wouldn't believe. But as I sat there holding my breath, I heard it again. A voice. It was so faint, almost blending with the static, but unmistakable. A low, whispering voice. But my daughter, she was asleep. I reached for the monitor screen with shaky hands and flipped it on. The room was dark, bathed in the eerie green glow of night vision. My baby was still, her tiny chest rising and falling peacefully in her crib. And yet I swear I saw something move in the corner of the screen, something standing in the shadows. A cold, suffocating dread crawled over my skin. I stared at the screen, unmoving, waiting for my eyes to adjust, for my mind to make sense of what I was seeing. Maybe it was just a trick of the light, a glitch in the night vision. I needed to be sure. I placed the monitor down on the coffee table and got up. The urge to check in person was stronger than any rational thought. I walked slowly to the bedroom first just to check on my wife. She was fast asleep, curled up on her side, facing away from the door. Then I made my way to the nursery. The hallway felt longer than usual, the air thick, pressing down on me with every step. When I reached the door, I hesitated. My fingers trembled as I twisted the knob and slowly pushed it open. The room was still. The soft glow of the nightlight bathed the crib in a warm hue. My daughter was there, sleeping peacefully, her tiny fingers twitching as she dreamed. The baby monitor camera sat on the shelf, pointed at the crib just like it always was. Everything seemed normal, but that feeling, that deep, gut-wrenching unease, hadn't left me. I stepped closer, peering into the crib, my breath held tight in my chest. My daughter stirred slightly but didn't wake. My eyes flicked toward the dark corner of the room, where I thought I had seen movement on the monitor. Nothing. Just shadows. Just my imagination. Shaking my head, I exhaled and turned to leave. I walked back to the living room, rubbing my temples, trying to shake the unease. I grabbed my beer again, took a slow sip, and let out a long breath. Maybe I was just tired. Maybe it was nothing. I checked my phone. 10:15 p.m. I decided to head back to the bedroom and lie down. My body wasn't tired, but my mind was heavy. I crawled into bed beside my wife, staring at the ceiling, listening to the soft hum of the fan. Then after about 15 minutes, the monitor crackled again. A cold, suffocating dread crawled over my skin. I wanted to turn my head, to reach for the monitor beside me, but my body froze mid-step. I tried. I swear I tried, but my limbs wouldn't move, like something had latched onto me, holding me in place. The whispering had stopped, replaced by something worse. Breathing, slow, deep, not from the crib, but closer to the camera. A distorted, rattling breath. On the screen, something shifted. A shape, tall, too tall for the room, standing just at the edge of the crib's light. And then it moved, not like a person, not naturally. It jerked forward in short, unnatural motions, as if it was being pulled frame by frame, closer to my sleeping child. My vision blurred with panic. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears, but I still couldn't move, couldn't scream, couldn't do anything. Then the thing did something I'll never forget. It turned, slowly, so slowly. It turned to face the camera, and it smiled. Maybe it wasn't a smile. I don't know, but I saw its face grin. Something more like a smile to me. The monitor screen flickered, and for the briefest moment, I saw it. A face, warped, hollow. A grin too wide, stretching across a skull-like face. Eyes like empty sockets, but somehow watching me. Then the screen went black. A high-pitched screech filled the room, static, deafening, like something clawing inside my skull. I gasped for air, and suddenly I was free. I shot up, nearly stumbling backward. My legs were shaking as I bolted toward the crib, nearly tripping over myself as I reached down to scoop my daughter into my arms. She stirred, let out a sleepy whimper, but she was okay. The door was open. I checked the monitor's footage the next day. There was nothing. But in the final frame, before the feed cut out for just a fraction of a second, the crib was empty.